Are you planning on moving and wondering if this is a good state to move to? I'm gonna tell you why everyone is moving here, and this may also be the reason why you want to avoid moving to Lower Alabama.
How can you avoid it?
So stay tuned because we're gonna talk all about it. Okay, so if you've been thinking about moving somewhere that hasn't been quite discovered yet,
the most important discovery of my life,
then you're in luck because we know what it's like to try to escape the hustle and bustle, those cold winters and high property taxes, but at the same time, not move to the middle of nowhere.
What is this place?
And I'm sure you want to do your research, so that's why you have us, the #1 relocation team in all of Lower Alabama. Let's start with the taxes here in Lower Alabama, or as us locals call it, LA. We don't have high property taxes, but we do have high sales taxes. And for me, it's kind of easy to overlook our sales tax when I'm saving thousands and thousands of dollars from not having to pay those super high property taxes like I did for so many years.
Well, I've been paying for that mistake every day since.
Now, that being said, sales tax here is high, and rightfully so. And I promise you don't hear me say that very often. I don't like when big government puts their greedy little hands into our pockets.
If you stood up against corruption, instead of doing your deal with the devil.
But in order to keep our property taxes down, I get why they need to tax us a little bit more here. Now, that being said, if you're in a place like Chicago, you'll have high sales tax and high property tax. So it could be worse. That's for damn sure.
That's what I'd call double trouble.
One thing everyone can agree on when it comes to sales tax is that it sucks when you go to the grocery store, and that's a place you just, cannot spend money at. We all need to eat, and that's why our state lawmakers are addressing grocery tax. The goal is to cut the state's 4% food tax to 3% this September, then again next year, and you get it, so on and so forth. Let's just hope there aren't any hiccups, because there has been some pushback by some of these cities, because that's where they make their money to pay for things like local government salaries, police vehicles and garbage trucks, everything that every local town needs. So they definitely have their work cut out for them, but I think Governor MEMAW knows Alabamians need some money back in our pockets, so I know they'll figure it out somehow, some way. And speaking of Governor K, I just read that she said if you're a biological male, you're not gonna be competing in women's and girls sports in Alabama. I'm telling y'all, she doesn't mess around.
After 20 fights, I was undefeated. Only one fighter stood between me and the belt.
You got this chick, she's nothing.
Tiffany Stone!
And that's why she's Alabama's MEMAW. You just feel like she's looking out for you and your family. Now, moving on to another reason you may absolutely love, or for y'all weirdos out there, hate living here, and that's the beach. If you don't know, we have the most beautiful sandy white beaches with warm turquoise bath water, but with that comes a lot of these tourists and obviously transplants like ourselves who want to be close to the water, get to our beach, our fishing, living our best lives is, in this quaint little area in general. It's a small price you have to pay to live in paradise. So come summertime, be ready to wait at a restaurant, be ready to sit in some traffic, and be ready to pay some touristy prices. Now, think about that for a second. Can you imagine yourself living in a place where people just want to come and visit you all the time? And if you're not used to that, then you better be ready, because I can tell you from personal experience, our house is a revolving door. Family, friends, long lost cousins, friends of friends, past clients, we've literally had just about everybody come down, and the funniest thing is that everyone loves it here.
Can we stay here forever?
I mean, if they've never been or even heard of it before, everybody sees why we chose this little slice of heaven.
I see it now.
And after mentioning that, I have to talk more about this title, about being one of the fastest growing metros in the entire country. So Alabama is home to 4 of the 100 fastest growing metros in the United States, including one in the top 12. And this is the area that we cover right here in the DAPHNE, FAIRHOPE, FOLEY area. This is the area that's home to Alabama's beaches in Baldwin County. And our little metro area right here grew by 3% between July 2021 and July of 22. And on top of that, we have the best beaches in the country. We're also close to a lot of other popular destinations like Pensacola, Florida, Birmingham and Huntsville up north. You got Atlanta right around the corner, Biloxi, Mississippi. And believe it or not, we find ourselves in Biloxi to check out their casinos and the aquarium and golf port more often than we would have thought. Then you have New Orleans right over there. And we just came back from a trip from Nashville not too long ago. So what I'm trying to say is you got so many options.
I don't know where to start.
Now, enough about getting out of LA, because you may not want to leave once you experience this slower Alabama lifestyle. People move here for a variety of reasons, but with endless things to do, I promise you, you'll always be looking forward to your weekends. Even outside of those summer months, our weather here is beautiful year-round, meaning you can enjoy life all the time, not just a couple measly months in the summer. Whether it's going to concerts, festivals, parades, boating, going to the beach, fishing, kayaking, paddleboarding, I'm telling you, I can go on for days. Or maybe you just want to go out and eat and shop, and there's always something to do. We practically make up reasons to celebrate everything. Don't believe me? We have the Strawberry Festival, the Mud Bugs and Margaritas Festival, the Hangout Fest on the beach, Mardi Gras. We can literally celebrate anything and make it into a festival if it isn't already.
I'm sorry, this festival is a really big thing around here.
Then we have our thriving food scene. Now, we may not have a lot of choices, but if you love delicious seafood, barbecue, and homemade Southern cooking, then you're in for a real treat, because our food is on point. I promise you this. Now, let's say you're on the fence about moving to Lower Alabama. What would cause somebody to want to move to LA without a doubt, even if they don't like the things I just mentioned? And for this, I'd say a huge driving factor is our cost of living and affordability. As inflation has taken hold of the country, we're still pretty affordable for being this desirable. It's almost unheard of. You can't get everything I just named, like cheap taxes, affordable housing, and white sandy beaches anywhere else, at least not for the same price. Plus, we have our Southern hospitality that's uncomparable. If you move to Florida, you get everyone from up north who moved down south, and with that comes their attitudes.
I'm so sick of your bad attitude.
I don't miss that. I promise you. I don't want that either. So if that's you, just stay right where you're at and stop watching. And let's not stop there. When it comes to shopping for one of the biggest investments in your life, it's nice to know that you can find a home below the national average of $400,000. Now, I know it's important to compare apples to apples, so if you're looking at a nicer, larger home, then it may go up in price a little bit, but you still have low taxes, great schools, and an area that's consistently been growing since the early 2000s. Real estate has been on a roller coaster ride the last few years in a lot of markets, but it's been pretty stabilized here, which has been nice for everyone. I'm not saying there's not multiple offer situations or anything, because there definitely is, but it just depends on what you're looking for and where it's located. So the next question to answer here is, where should you look for a home? If you like the charm of older homes and want location, 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 check out Old Town Daphne or downtown Fairhope or anywhere in South Foley, but be ready to pay for it, because everyone wants to be close to those amenities or to the beach. I have a client right now who has seen quite a few properties, and one of her gripes is that some of the older homes are pricey, sometimes a lot more than some of the new builds, and she hates that it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it still costs a little bit more just because of where it's located. So if location doesn't matter and you don't mind living on the outskirts, say, I don't know, around 30 to 35 minutes away, our surrounding area has tons of new construction going up, and there are some really gorgeous homes out there that are just nice and rural. I mean, there's subdivisions too, but some of these houses can be secluded on a lake or near STEELWOOD golf course, and some might have both. I promise you, you can get the best of both worlds here. Whatever you're thinking, we definitely got it. So if you want to start looking, make sure you reach out to the #1 relocation team in all of Lower Alabama, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to see our growing area. See ya.